How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid, which was up almost 7% on the Friday. They ended up opening another location. Investors are excited. We had a lot of buying coming in. I'll talk about it further in the video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $16.63, being up 6.95%. On the low, it tested $15.61, and then on the high, testing $16.81. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 24.044 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 16.963 million shares. So we had above average volume on the day, and it's part of the reasons why we saw some strength in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it's at 43.61. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, we're also below the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. And it's clear to see that Lucid is in a bear market, trading below all of our major moving averages. And from what I'm seeing from this price action, we do have some consolidation that is going on. You can see we had a red day on the Thursday, and we were able to turn around and have a green day on the Friday. We saw a high of 1681. So if Lucid continues to go on an uptrend, I'd want to see us making a move to at least around $17, and if we could reclaim $17.50, because we do have a gap that needs to be filled to the upside just below $18. So I'd keep an eye on that for the coming week. If it's unable to actually get there, of course we're going to continue to have trading below the 21-day EMA, and that is bearish. So what could possibly happen if we decide to break through 1561? Lucid will go back to trading in the $14 range, and we will be testing the lows down here, which we have the 52-week low at $13.25. So that is an area you're going to want to keep an eye on as well to the downside. If it decides to consolidate, then of course you want to see if it could hold support right at $15. So keep an eye on it, but let's see if we can get a test to at least a 21-day EMA for this coming week. Now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. So green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filing we have here for June the 17th, we have Oliver Lagore Van Villen Investment Group that purchased 600 shares. And then when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 36.82%. And then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 2.43 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 650,000, updated 21 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 14.83%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 16th, it was at 61.45. And then for the close of the 17th, being at 36.82. So that is a significant decrease right there. And then when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float, being at 22.55%, Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we see on the inflow, it's at 130 million, and then on the outflow, it's at 56.60 million. So we had a strong inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 66.31 million. On the medium, it was 43.71 million, and then on the small, it was 19.95 million. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 11 million. On the medium, it was 29.48 million, and then on the small, it was 16.12 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for June the 17th, we had that big inflow of 55.3 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders, it tends to represent the retail side. You can see we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then for the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had a lot more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 1.44%. So this is a consistent range for Lucid. And one thing that was clear from taking a look at the order flow, big money was loading up. We also did see a lot of demand on the retail side as well. We'll talk about it further inside of the final thoughts. So let's get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for Lucid, when it comes to the price action, so we ended up seeing a high at $16.81. And I know you can agree with me that that is just not good enough, especially if you want to see some strength in the stock. The 21-day EMA is at $17.94. So it needs to get to that level. At least make that move to fill in the gap to go to $18 would be the most bullish case scenario. We ended up seeing a low though at $15.61. And why is this significant? The main reason behind it, we want support to hold at $15.30. If it does not hold, Lucid will be trading in the $14 range very quickly. We also can't forget that the 52-week low is at $13.25, and that is not too far off. So if we continue to have weakness inside of these markets, Lucid could go down to those levels that I just spoke about. So it's very important for it to hold $15, but again, keep an eye on $15.30. I know many of you like to play this thing to the downside and as well as to the upside, so I'm making sure that you guys are covered. Not financial advice, of course. We also have to take into consideration the Russell. A lot of institutions and funds that follow alongside with it are loading up on shares, and we've been seeing this with numerous stocks, and I'm seeing that going on with Lucid right now, and that's why we have to pay attention, and that's why there's so much big money flowing into the play. Yes, they did open up a new location for Colorado, and that is very exciting, but we also can't ignore the fact that we are in a bear market, and this is also a company who has not proven to be profitable as of yet. And when it comes to stocks like these, you're bearing a lot of risk, especially in high inflationary environments. So that is why I emphasize always having a game plan, whether you're an investor or whether you are a trader. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we did see a little bit of activity. And then taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. There's a lot of shorts vested in the play, and like I said previously, that is not surprising whatsoever. But you just need to make sure that you have a game plan set out for yourself. Know your entry, know your exit. Please don't just watch the play and say, well, you know what, I'm just going to take profits when it goes to the moon. That is not the right way to go about doing this. You want to make sure you have realistic expectations, because this market will humble you very quickly. Just because a stock is gaining momentum and it's moving up doesn't mean that it's going to continue to go up. And if you haven't realized that already, then you're going to realize that very quickly. These markets have been choppy. I know I sound like a broken record here, but for my traders out there, I just want to see you be successful. And for my investors, I would continue to exercise some patience. Again, there's so much fear, there's so much uncertainty inside of these markets, and by taking a look at the chart, I could see a pullback coming very quickly in the near term. So that's why you want to be prepared, and there's no reason to have FOMO. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how the stock performs going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.